Okay. Hello, my name is Juno Losita, and you are?
My name is Kevin Davis.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Maybe we can start off just you discussing anything about your comic books or about yourself.
My name is Kevin Davis. I'm a published author, and I just released my first two comics this year called Arcfire and Havoc. My first comic, Arcfire, came out in around March of this year. It's about my character Arcfire basically figuring out who he is because he has no memory of where he came from and how he got to where he is right now, which is on Earth. But he's from another planet, but he doesn't remember that. And Havoc is about a story about a demon named Havoc, Ares Havoc, and his wife taking over London and eating souls to be eternal, basically. So yeah, and I've been a published author for about 2 years now.
Awesome. And what has inspired you to start writing?
My inspiration actually came from my mom because she's a writer herself, and I'll be publishing her when she's ready to get her stuff done and published. Um, I especially like in school. I have to write all them papers. I hated writing with a passion, but my mom always taught me the thing you hate the most is what you're good at. So turns out I'm very good at writing. But it really started when I read her murder mystery book that she's actually revamping right now. And when I read that book, I could not put it down, and so that really kind of sparked the fire in me and wanted to like try and do this myself. And plus, I watch a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows, and so I just really love storytelling. And writing has become my therapy because I love writing from my heart and storytelling.
It's lovely. And can you tell us what a day looks like in your life?
Day in my life, mostly I wake up late because I do all nighters writing. But sometimes I wake up like 1 o'clock in the afternoon because I pulled an all nighter working on comic scripts, my novels, and my other business stuff that I'm working on behind the scenes. But I always make sure I always have time for family and spend time with my sister and my mom and my grandmother, just to get that family time. Because I always try to find a balance in everything. My mom always teaches me about balance. Make sure you take breaks, don't overwork yourself, and because overworking can cause burnouts. So I try my best not to burn out, and so I try to find balance. Sometimes I just be by myself, listen to music, watch Netflix, watch anything that interests me. I also get inspired by. So yeah,
That's awesome. And yeah, I'm a big advocate on that whole thing with burnout, preventing it and not overworking yourself.
yeah.
How do you approach developing a character over multiple issues?
Um, the way I approach it, my characters are based on people in my life that inspire me. But the way I approach it, hmm, how do I explain this? First, I always think about what drives the character and what makes them who they are. Because I always try to figure out what's their weakness, what's their strengths, and I always try my best with character development to show to like try my best way to explain it. Like I'm trying to like to evolve the character so they won't be so stagnant in like one place. Like I try to show that people can change if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, so I always try to make an outline just see where I want to take the storyline with my characters, and it takes me like 1,000 rewrites to actually until I'm confident with what I want to, which story I want to tell. So that's how I kind of approach my characters. One is based off people in my life, and also two, what drives them and help them become who they are and help them figure out who they are because I take it from personal experience. Even for myself, I take from personal experience like to figure out who I am. So I write myself inside a character because I want people to like. when they see my character, I want people to relate to my characters. So yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that. I think a lot of writers tend to write with parts of themselves in it.
Yep.
Can you describe your typical process for plotting and script writing?
Oof. Process, man. So not gonna lie, sometimes I kind of just wing it. Just I'll go reply. I sometimes wing it, but I've gotten to the point where I actually start thinking about what story I want to tell for my audience and also for myself. I always trying to find ways like to reach somebody. Like my goal is like if I reach one person and I make them happy, that's good for me because at least to touch somebody. But my process of script writing, one, I write out character names, descriptions, and decide who's the main character, who's my supporting characters for this issue. And before I get to the script, I think about what's the setting, what's the time period, if it's a time period piece, if it's fantasy, if it's horror, if it's comedy, if it's all the above. So I always I always think about which tone I want to do and how far I want to take it. Because sometimes I want to make a one shot. Maybe this might be a series. Maybe both. You know, or it might be an anthology. But script writing, the toughest part about script writing is the page number, because you never know if you might if the artist might need to expand a page to like multiple pages, especially if it's a lot of detail. So I always like write a certain amount of page numbers just to see, but I always make sure I budget out just in case I have to make extra pages. So yeah,
Awesome. And what's your favorite genre to write in?
fantasy and horror. That's literally my strong suit is fantasy and horror.
Honestly, same. That's what I write in as well.
Nice, yeah.
So,
And
what do you think has been your biggest challenge you faced so far?
biggest challenge is sometimes biggest challenge is finding the right artist, especially budget wise, and also you have to be careful with scam artists. Um, but luckily, I have an awesome team that I work with now that are literally my best friends now. 'Cause I've been working with them for a while now. Um, so that hasn't been a challenge anymore. Sometimes script writing can be challenging because I try not to add too much detail on one page. I mean, I have to remember I don't want to make it too messy on one page, especially printing wise. It might come out like very horrible. So, yeah, so I think, and also budgeting because, like I said, you might have to the artist might have to spread your writing to another page. So budgeting is kind of tough due to like the complexity of the pages and finding the right artist mostly.
That makes sense. And what do you think makes for a successful writer artist collaboration in comics?
Well, for me, I always try to build a friendship before a business partnership because I have to see if we could actually work together very well. But especially if I can see I want a long term relationship with you, I want to make sure that we can build that friendship and bond to make sure we're both having fun on the project, and also to see if you're very good at communication. Communication is always key. Communication. If you can't communicate, I can't work with you because there's a time schedule for everything. Also, respect. Also, make sure you have grounds set before you start a project. Make sure everybody's covered, uh, especially like the copyright, the payments, the everything. um, so I think that's what a lot of people are missing with collaborations is build a friendship before you hire somebody just to see if you can trust them. Is my advice.
Yeah, that makes sense. And have you ever had to handle any creative disagreements with your collaborators?
No, actually no. I give them some creative freedom. I always be honest, like I give you some creative freedom. Like give me an idea that you think could spicy up the story, if that makes sense. And the artists have given me ideas what they think like they can add to the art page from my writing. And some I told them, I was like, I like that idea, but say that for issue two, because I'm like, as long as it makes sense with the story, I'll do it. But for some examples, I always say, I like that, save that, but say that for the next issue, because that idea is too early for the story. But no, it's actually been really smooth sailing with the artists I work with, and it's been really awesome.
Awesome. And have you ever experienced any of your creative blocks?
Yes, a lot, a lot. Um, because there'll be moments like I have an idea, but then I don't know how to write it, and so to avoid that, I just take a break, listen to some music, get inspired, watch TV shows, watch movies, to like get that fire back in me. And sometimes I even read other comics and other books to also get that inspiration. But yes, I've plenty of times I've been having like creative block. Um, so I just try to slow down. Sometimes my mind just moves too fast. That's also why I get the block at times. But yeah, I think it's important. I'm still learning to take a break and slow down a bit. But yeah,
Do you think you can share a specific example of how an event or experience inspired one of your stories, if any?
hmm, event. Like something that happened in my life personally.
Yes, or you can also pick something from, you said TV, that'll also work.
Okay. Well, TV wise, I would say the show Vampire Diaries, Teen Wolf, Supernatural, um, even the superhero shows like Arrow, Flash, Legend of Tomorrow. Yes, I'm a big nerd, so I watch a lot. Even Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, all those. I really love the dark tones of Arrow, of Sabrina, of Supernatural, and Vampire Diaries and the originals. Those were my biggest inspirations, and I've literally actually started going back and rewatching those shows because I am working on like a vampire supernatural type of series and monster series. Like movie wise, Godzilla and Kong. Um, and I'm also trying to work on some comedy, so I'm watching a lot of Adam Sandler. Just to I want to because I want to challenge myself and like expand my horizon and not just do fantasy and horror, but I want to add some comedy, some genre, some drama into my writing because I just love storytelling. I want to expand my horizon. Um, but also personally, growing up, being raised by a single mom also what inspired me. I've been the only male in my house my entire life, so that's also like when my stories coming like self discovery, figuring out how to get through your pain and your anger and your depression because I've been through all that like a lot, especially like those certain type of thoughts that a lot of is with mental health. And I always love writing. I write about mental health because I want to bring awareness to it and try to make someone smile, let them know you're not alone. I mean, it's okay to be not to be okay, but also keep pushing through. Don't give up because there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm a big advocate on mental health.
Yeah, same. As you can see from my type of posting I do, I'm a mental health advocate. That is something I enjoy. I also really like watching Vampire Diaries and the originals. That is actually my favorite shows.
Awesome.
So, what has been your favorite thing about creating?
I can bring my own imagination to life. I'm creating my own IP. Um, and I don't have to wait on nobody else to do it. I can just bring representation myself. That's really the biggest thing. Is that it's my stories I want to tell, and um and that's why I'm building my own business because I'm bringing my own stories, and at some point I want to be able to bring some more some other creative stories to life, best way I can.
Awesome. That is actually the best part of creating is showing somebody else your things, having that come out of your head. It's amazing.
Most definitely.
How do you balance writing for existing fans and attracting new readers?
Mm, I'm still figuring that part out actually. Um, because I'm still a bit new in the comic universe. It's been my first full year, so I'm still trying to find that balance. Um, I have some really good friends that buy my books that's been supporting me since I first met them, so that was phenomenal. Um, but attracting new readers, I'm constantly posting like on Instagram, Facebook, even I'm trying to get back on TikTok. um, and I'm posting on YouTube just to like try to build an audience and just get out of my comfort zone. And I'm basically pushing myself. I'm an introvert, but I'm trying to push myself to be more open, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, I'm trying, but my way of trying to track is being myself and just being real. I was like, yeah, social media is fake, but I don't want to do anything fake. I'm just gonna be honest and be my real self. I'm not here like to like show off show off like to be fake anything. Like I want you to know who I am and what type of person I really am. If you know what I mean, if that makes sense.
Yeah, being your true self is definitely the greatest way to find your crew. You'll find like-minded people and people who enjoy what you do.
Yep.
So, what would you say is your long-term goals right now, or aspirations for being a comic book writer?
My long term goal, as my comic books start to come out, my brand starts to build. I hope to get into animation at some point. I would love to collaborate with other people who like to do animations, potentially bring my comic books to life. Um, and who knows? I might go into live action sometime. Like I was like, I'm always like, wherever God takes me, I'll go. You know what I mean? Um, because I'm not in a rush at all because I want to do quality over quantity. So I don't mind how long it takes. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to take my time and enjoy this crazy ride. But yeah, at some point I would love to get into like voice acting. Well, I did my first voice acting role in a horror movie called The Cold Grave, and so I kind of want to get into more voice acting and like get my voice trained a bit more because I would love to like visual effects like the Planet of the Apes movie. Like I want to learn that. I want to like experience that. Um, heck, I'll be a Disney prince or something. A Disney villain or something. Pixar or like Toy Story. I don't care. I want to voice act, and I would love to play a horror creature like a leprechaun. Like I told you, I'm a nerd, so I would just love to. I don't want to have fun. I want to have fun, create, inspire people, and just have an amazing, entertaining time. Build friendships, build relationships, and just we all grow together and just have fun. Like this. I don't even consider this work for me. This is yeah, yes. I get paid and pay for this, but I don't consider this work because this is what I love. Like I don't
Mhm.
want to like work to get money. I'm working because I love what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And I was like, dude, this is practically my vacation I'm getting paid for. I was like, so yeah, this I don't consider this work at all. Plus, um, I recently I'm a part of a new project I can't really talk about just yet. But I'm gonna help somebody bring their comic books to life. So that's exciting. But yeah.
Okay, so you hear that, Disney, if you're watching, hire Kevin for a voice actor. But no, those are really good goals. And if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 24.
Nice.
I'll be 25 September 1st.
That's great. And I'm sure you'll reach all those goals. Sounds like really good goals. Um, how do you respond to feedback from readers, both positive or negative?
Uh, those that give me proper constructive criticism, I'll listen to because it'll help me build my storytelling better. But honestly, with the positive, I've gotten so much more positive than negative, which was shocking to me because I'm the new kid on the block, and I'm getting all these positive feedbacks. Like that really builds my confidence and also keeps me humble. Like it's very truly humbling getting response like, "What's next? I want more. What the hell's happening? Or who the hell is this dude?" or something like that. And I was like, "Wow." So I'm like, the way I respond is like, "I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going." Even with the negatives, I'm like, "I'm going to keep going." And but the ones I don't listen to say like, this is trash and yada yada yada. 'Cause, there's always gotta be trolls somewhere around here. But I'm saying if you don't give me real constructive feedback, I'm not gonna listen to you like at all. So that's how I respond. I mean, I respond like I was like, yeah, I just respond like that's truly humbling if it's positive, and it's also truly humbling if it's even if it's I don't consider it negative, but I'll say constructive feedback. So I'm like, thank you. I'm just like, thank you.
Definitely a good way to go about it. How do you determine the success of a story, well, beyond sales numbers?
The way I determine it is if people ask me questions. If they read my story, ask me what's happening next. And I've actually gotten that so many times. And for me, it's not even really about sales to me. Not I'm like I do this because I love it. And if you ask me questions, what's next? And tell me I want more. I want to learn more. Like there's a lot of lore in this story. What's next? I was like, I'm like, don't. I'll always tease. I was like, you'll find out soon. You'll find out soon. And also like I've been getting some really good engagement from like the sneak peek pages I show on my social media. So that's also how I determine the success. I'm like, just getting the comments. Ugh, and it's like, ooh, this looks so freaking awesome. I cannot wait to read this. And I can't wait to see more of this. So that's really where my determination from getting those type of comments and just simply people just want to nerd out with me. Basically, that's how I determine the success of it. I said, yes, the sales are cool and all, but everything is not about money for me. But yes, I have to give money like to pay the artist, of course. But I'm not those. I'm not the type of person that honk like just want money, and like I'm not a cash grab person. If that makes sense. Like I want you to enjoy the story. Like I want you to just have fun with it and just get out. Like this world can be dark, and I just want you to read my story and just get out the real world for a minute. So yeah, that's how I really determine it.
That's great. Definitely understand where you're coming from there. Have you ever had to do a difficult scene in one of your comic books?
Not yet. In an upcoming project, yes. Well, I'm not gonna speak about it just yet because that's a few issues down.
Okay.
So, yeah, yeah, but uh, yeah, it's getting there. um, I would say it's kind of like a personal sequence based on real life. But I probably won't really tell anybody it's based on real life because it's it's based on someone that I really love. I'll just keep it at that. So yeah.
Thank you. Um, and what do you think is a common misconception you hear about the comic book industry?
Ooh, misconception. Ooh, that's a good question. Oh man, came with a tough one. Okay. Misconception. Hmm. Oof, that's a tough one. um,
Would you
hmm.
like to skip the question?
Yeah, come. Let's get back to that. I think about that one. Yeah, get back to that one. That's a good question. Huh.
What advice would you give to an aspiring comic book writer looking to get into the industry?
Oh, I love that question. First, do your research. Research is very important. Pray. Uh, drink energy drinks. But on a serious note, write what you know and what you want to tell, what story you want to tell. Um, but I would say write a novel first before you try to jump into a comic. Because writing a novel, you already have that's basically your outline. Because write your novel, start getting your sales built up, get your money built up, and make sure you learn how to budget and be careful with scam artists. But most important, have fun and don't when you're writing, don't think about what other people will think. Think about what you want to do because this is your story that you're telling. It doesn't matter what other people are thinking because at the end of the day, this is your story. And people gonna like it, people gonna hate it. That's fine. But at the end of the day, it's still your story. So, so don't get the thought in the back of your head. It's like people, what people might think, like what people gonna judge. I was like, we're just your audience. Like we'll give feedback, of course, but it's still your story. And don't listen to these trolls calling it trash because 99% is not trash. Because people are can be very simple-minded and just miserable for some odd reason, and they just try to make other people miserable. Miserable. That's what I've learned, like in life. Um, Also build build up your writing skills. Practice, practice, practice. Um, Listen to people that have more experience than you. Because because my mentors. That's how I always have a mentor with you. Because a mentor will also make sure to push you to another level than you already are. And don't be afraid to get out your comfort zone because there will be times that you will have to get out your comfort zone, especially when you get to the point of talking to artists. And make sure you learn professionalism and be very um, specific about what you want for the art, but also make sure you build that relationship before you officially hire and just figure out what you want in the art style before you try to jump into it because you can lose money very fast if you just jump into it without knowing what the heck you want. So that's my biggest advice. Know exactly what you want, strive for it, and make sure that's what you want before. Make sure you're 100%, 120% you're confident for what you want before you officially say yes to the artist.
Awesome. Thank you for the advice. And we just have two more questions left now. Next one. What do you think is in store for the future of the comic book industry?
Independent is rising up very rapidly right now, and I think the future is very bright. And despite with this AI stuff, I don't believe AI is going to even make it that far. Because like it's not real. Like there's no soul to it, and that like it's there's really no soul to it. But the future, I think, independent comics is about to become the new mainstream. Honestly, Because every day you see a lot of new people rising up in the comic industry, and it's very beautiful that everyone is taking that leap of faith and just doing their own thing. And it's really beautiful to see that everyone that come into the industry is like, we're just tired. We want to do our own thing now. Like, why we're waiting on someone to do it if we can just do it ourselves? You know what I mean? So I think it's a very beautiful future for it.
Definitely. It's definitely one of those times now where everybody is realizing how creative they are and they're just
Yeah.
posting and getting it out there. I've seen it happen so much, especially during these interviews I'm having. I'm meeting so many new people. It's wonderful.
Yep. Yep.
And the last question, where can we buy your comic books?
My comics is on Fund My Comic. You can follow my Instagram at I am Kevin Davis Official. My link is all in my bio, so you can see everything there from my comics to my clothing brands to my shoes to everything I'm doing. Even you can also follow my Facebook, because that's also where I post all of my stuff is my Facebook. And yeah, but when you go to Fund My Comic, and you can find Arcfire, you can find Havoc.
Awesome. Thank you very much for meeting with me today.
Thank you for
And
having
thank
me.
you for everybody who's watched as well. Appreciate that. If anybody else does want to do an interview, you can email me at this email address right here, kingdomofhoursofficial@gmail.com, and we can definitely set one up. I definitely appreciate it. And have a good one.
Yeah, thank you. You too.